think this Zerg player has just found himself in quite the pickle after losing both of his expansions. He's now operating on the same number of base of Terran. Doesn't want to do that. Look at this. And just as I look, man, this Terran is on fire with these scans. Look at that perfect scan, knowing exactly when this hatchery is going down. Man, the Zerg player is not able to catch a break. Terran player keeping up with his macro astoundingly, keeping his money at a tiny amount at all times. Zerg player getting a little behind. 2,000 gas, or excuse me, 2,000 minerals, not 2,000 gas, 200 gas. Probably has troubles because he can't produce anything from Zerg with all that money and not any gas. Here comes the Ultra. See these Ultras. We're going to get this number of forwards. We're going to go forwards. Thor's doing good. Ultras are not doing up. No, Thor's finally getting surrounded. Finally getting that AoE. Clear work. 4 offers come out of the battle victorious. When Thor about to go down, he just Thor fun, friends, Thor heaven, I don't know. Jumping back to the Terran base, Terran is not sure what he's going to do about this, throwing down another barracks, keeping his wall as strong as possible, and look at how quickly this Zerg player has re-established his economic foothold, completely prepared for this Terran. This Terran is now getting dangerously close to mined out, does not seem to have any preparation for a third base, and is very undersaturated. We have this income tab. Look at the Zerg player, 1,600 to 1,200 minerals, 77 harvesters to 34. Absolutely dominating in the economy. And here come the Hellions. Drones. He's got so many drones. He can't use his drones to fight. Losing all the drones, nonetheless. That blue flame just too much. Finally comes close. Finally stopping the Hellions. Bringing the harvester count amazingly, it looks like during this entire altercation, Eizcaj was still producing drones, maintaining a 76 to 34 drone advantage. Absolutely insane, especially losing that many drones. Here come the Hellions, running right into some roaches. Not what he wants to have to deal with right now. And look at the Ling getting in position. He saw the Hellions. He wants to be ready for that. And just bringing his units back to home base. He knows he can respond to any of his multiple bases from this position very well. The Terran player needs to do something, and needs to do something extremely fast, because he is going so behind on the economy tab. Excuse me, in the economy in general. The tab is just a representation of that, and he is still producing nothing but Thors. He is convinced that he can produce another game-winning Thor push. We'll see if the Zerg player can really make this economic advantage hold strong. I can't imagine this Terran player is going to be able to do it with his small number of bases, but you never know, crazier things have happened. Excuse me, jumping back, here come the Zerg units to deal with the Hellions who just got here. It's not even gonna make it to the drones. One Hellion gets in, not even gonna touch the drones being pampered by protection from these giant units. And here come more Hellions into the mix. They are going to go around the backside. Are they able to hit the drones from that cliff? Not 100% sure, but the spine crawler is already in position. Zergly's trying to respond. Hellions running away. This Hellions just getting a creep tumor, just doing as much damage as they can, knows he's not going to win against this ball of units. He's doing everything he can to harass the Zerg into submission, but I don't think all the harassment in the world is going to prepare him to deal with this giant ball of units. The Zerg player might have coincidentally just been moving his units or moving them out of the scan. Very wise decision. Either way, luck or not, the wall is lifted. He looks like he might be getting ready to push out. No, just moving his giant ball of units, letting them stretch their arms. And this Terran player really needs to do something about his number of bases. He cannot survive off of just one expansion for long, especially off a Zerg player's macroing so hard. We'll see what the final outcome of this game is. And the Zerg player just in a dominant position, but very wisely not overcommitting. And look at this giant ball of Hellions. Man, that's a lot of wood fire. And the Zerg player has all this time to deal with this, but no, the Terran player is actually not going to use his Hellions to push. Just going to use his Hellions, running him back to base. Probably going to repair him. I assume he was going to go try and burn as many drones as he could with that, especially with such a large number of Hellions, but deciding that's not what he wants to do. Just going to use 3 Hellions for scouting, maybe. Look at this, looking at the surface, a Roach already sitting there, a Zergling sitting here. A Zerg player knows as soon as he's going to try and take an expansion, will probably deny that expansion. Hellions going around. Look at the Zerg player, just absolutely nice micro, preparing for every outlet the Terran player could try to go to harass. He has units in position, or overlord a spot, or creep a spot, and here comes the Hellion Death Ball. Running it, goodbye Roach. There you go. And the Hellions do nothing more than stopping that, and we'll see he still has yet to start production on a new command center. I'm not exactly sure what he's gonna do to deal with this, and other than just slowly get choked off. The Zerg player working on level 3 Carapace, absolutely dominant position with his upgrades. The dropships are ready to go. It looks like he's going to do some kind of Stalin drop where he drops the units as he's attacking. And here he goes, back and forward, and looks like we got a couple Hellions being pesky, snaking around, and he did not really get that many drones, I don't believe. Taking a look, 0 kills on that Hellion, 1 kill on that Hellion. I can't imagine with that many spine crawlers there, he was able to do that much damage. And here comes the push. I imagine this to be the death push, but you never know what the Terran can produce, especially as turtly as the Terran is, with these giant units and giant buildings producing as thick of a wall as possible. Excuse me, just sitting here idly, doing a nice Mexican standoff, except he's not looking at anybody, so I guess it wouldn't be a Mexican standoff. Hatcheries, excuse me, I was going to say hatchery being produced right over here. This hatchery is long since done, and the Zerg player is still not moving out. He decides he does not want to try and push into his Terran base. He knows he's got bases upon bases advantage. He's letting his money ride up, completely maxed. Look at that, almost 5,000 minerals, almost 4,000 gas, and he can produce an entire army in no time at all. Bringing up the units tab, larva does not show on here. I was hoping we could see how many larvae he had banked up, and the Terran player finally attempting to take his expansion. He's got enough units. He's at 172, so it's an almost max Terran army versus almost max, excuse me, max Zerg army. We'll see what's about to happen. 2-2 upgrades for the Terran. Jumping to the Zerg, we have 3-3 upgrades for the Zerg on a crackling / ultralist mix. We'll see what he's able to do. He knows he doesn't want to allow this Terran player to take any more expansions than he has to allow, and he's not going to push in. He's just going to sit back. He's got his units split. He wants to produce a flank. He wants units coming from this side as well as units coming from this side. That's why this is such an interesting mechanic in this map, making it so they have to go on either side of the thing, the giant chasm, cannot just go in a direct line. And here we go, Zerg player making his advance. Ultralist just getting burned alive. And look at that, they're all parasite use. Oh, brilliant. And Hellions trying to take out those investors. Double click on his Ultralist. Ultralist getting in the red. They're going to be able to hold out. Thor's doing everything they can, and miraculously, it looks like the Zerg player is getting forced back, flipping to the army tab. The Terran player's at 91, the Zerg player's at 198, or excuse me, 198, but most of it's in production. 12 Ultralists. Wow, just making nothing but Ultralists, filling out his ranks extremely quickly with those giant 6 supply units. And transfusing these near-dead Ultralists. Man, look at the Queen usage. He does not want to waste Ultralists for nothing. And back to this, the Terran player. Look at the number of mules jumping to the economy tab. Terran player sitting at almost 2,500 minerals. He just spiked that because of those Hellions, spiking again to 25. 69 to 41 harvesters. Still, look at this, mined out again. Terran player cannot secure more than one base at a time. And look at this. Building another wall. He does not want this Zerg player to get any kind of surround. This Terran player is making use of everything he can, moving all of his wall to over here, and even building 2 more, and he's not even producing from these barracks. Very interesting play, using them nothing more than walls. And the Zerg player just menacingly sitting here with 6,000 minerals, almost 5,000 gas, and jumping to the army tab, a nearly maxed army, and here he comes. At this point, he can just smash armies into the Terran base, and still the Terran eventually comes. There's nothing to see that here. It's a large economic gap. The Terran player just about broke, has 1,000 minerals, nothing on the gas. Ultras getting bunched up, hopefully. And here we go, Ultras being dropped on the list, and don't think any of this Terran players are going to do it. Here we go. It looks like it's going to be a good game. Zerg player dropping the Ultras on top of the army. Very, very brilliant play. Very impressive play for our Zerg player. This has been Tazoo. Thank you again for listening. Bye.